I want to tell you about my first love. Her name was Ilara. We met in a small coastal town called Greyhaven, a quiet place where nothing extraordinary ever happened, unless you made it happen yourself. I was 21, working long night shifts as a railway maintenance technician. Exhausting, dirty work, but honest. Ilara studied graphic design at a small institute in the city. She had soft eyes, a voice like sunlight, and a laugh that made everything feel lighter. She was my first everything. I was hers. We grew up together, not just in age, but in habits. Grocery shopping on Sundays, movie nights that ended with us falling asleep halfway through, long talks about the future, where we'd live, what kind of people we wanted to become, how many pets we'd have, the life we dreamed of building together. After 4 years, we moved into a small townhouse on the edge of town. It wasn't perfect, thin walls, creaking floors, but it was ours. We adopted 2 cats, bought mismatched furniture because we couldn't agree on anything, but it felt real. By the 6th year, we were planning to buy a house, not a dream, an actual home.
I handled most of the logistics, mortgages, paperwork, savings plans, because that's how I loved, by building stability. Ilara said she appreciated that, and I believed her. Looking back, I see the cracks were already there, but at the time, I didn't notice. I didn't want to. It started small. She mentioned a guy she met online while gaming. His name was Rowan. He lived 2 hours away in Northbridge. They played co-op games together, sometimes late at night. I didn't think much of it. She'd always been social, creative. I didn't want to be the jealous boyfriend who questioned every interaction. I trusted her. That trust felt like proof of how far I'd come as a person. Rowan became a regular name in our apartment. He's funny. He's had a rough life. He's easy to talk to. Sometimes she'd be laughing into her headset while I cooked. Other times, I'd come home after a long shift and she was still online, completely absorbed. I told myself it was fine. Then came the messages, the videos.
Constant notifications. One evening, she mentioned casually she had given Rowan our address so he could send her a birthday card. My stomach tightened. "You gave him our address?" I asked. She rolled her eyes. "Relax, what's he gonna do?" I didn't like it. Not because of jealousy, because of my work. I had responsibilities, sensitive information, and she knew that. When the package arrived, it wasn't just a card. It was a gift. Expensive. Too expensive. Inside was a handwritten note, a joke that felt familiar, intimate in a way that made my chest ache. I tried to explain how uncomfortable it made me. She said I was overthinking, being controlling, imagining things. Later, I learned she had told him I was making a big deal out of nothing. Lying awake that night, staring at the ceiling, I felt something new creep in. Not anger, doubt. Over the next few months, Ilara changed. Not suddenly, gradually, quietly. She stopped reaching for me, stopped initiating kisses, stopped noticing when I came home exhausted. When I suggested going for a walk or watching a movie, she said, maybe later. Later never came.
Rowan's voice filled our living room more than mine did. I told myself relationships evolve, that long-term love isn't fireworks, it's comfort. But something inside me felt wrong. I couldn't remember the last time she looked at me like she needed me. I asked her once, gently, if she still found me attractive. She shrugged. "Why are you asking that?" I asked if she was happy. She said, "I don't know. Maybe things just got boring." Boring. 6 years of loyalty, of shared dreams reduced to one word, boring. Around this time, she started hesitating about the house. "Maybe we rushed into it," she said. We hadn't. We'd planned it for over a year, but I didn't push. I thought patience would save us.
Instead, it erased me. The breakup didn't come with shouting or drama. It came quietly, one Tuesday night. She sat across from me at the kitchen table and said she needed space, that she wasn't sure who she was anymore, that she felt disconnected. I asked if there was someone else. She said no. 3 days later, she was in a hotel with Rowan. I found out accidentally through a friend who saw a photo online. Ilara smiling, somewhere unfamiliar, Rowan's arm visible in the mirror. My chest collapsed inward. When she returned to collect her things, she brought him with her into our home, the place we shared.
She didn't look at me when she said she loved him. Didn't flinch comparing us. Didn't stop when she threw away the things I'd given her. Letters, keepsakes, a small metal box filled with notes explaining why I loved her. "Those don't mean anything anymore," she said. It felt like watching someone erase my existence. She told me I'd been a terrible partner, that I'd made her feel unwanted, that I should have known what she needed without her saying it. When I asked why she never said any of this before, she said, "That's such a cliché." I remember standing alone in the doorway, listening to the cat's meow and confusion, realizing the future I had built no longer had a place to land. The weeks after blurred together. I couldn't sleep.
Couldn't eat. Couldn't focus. Work became impossible. Mistakes I'd never made before. Eventually, my supervisor pulled me aside. "We're concerned about you." Ilara blocked me everywhere. Her family believed her story. I was painted as distant, cold, unfaithful, things I'd never been. She owed me months of rent. She refused to pay. No contract, I let it go. New Year's Eve came. She was with him. I was alone, sitting on the floor of a half-empty apartment, holding a glass I hadn't touched, wondering how someone could replace 6 years in a matter of days. The thought of her with another man made me physically sick, not out of ownership, but because she had been sacred to me, a shared history, a language only we spoke. I started believing maybe I deserved it. Maybe I'd failed some invisible test.
2 months into no contact, something unexpected happened. I received an email. It was from Rowan. Short, awkward, apologetic. He said he hadn't known everything, that Ilara told him our relationship was basically over long before it ended, that she said I was emotionally unavailable, distant, already halfway gone. He said he'd found messages she'd sent other people too, other friends, similar patterns, similar words. He said he was starting to see a cycle. I didn't respond, but for the first time, something shifted. The story in my head that I was unlovable, replaceable, boring, cracked, not because he said sorry, but because I realized this didn't start with me and it wouldn't end with him. I moved cities, not to run, but to breathe. I started therapy, slowly, reluctantly, painfully. I learned love isn't proven by endurance. Trust doesn't mean silence.
Sometimes people cheat, not because something is missing, but because they can't sit with themselves. I still think about her, but not the way I used to. Now I think about the person I became because of it all. Stronger, sadder, wiser, still capable of love. And maybe that's enough. Sometimes the person who breaks your heart isn't evil. They're just unfinished. And sometimes losing everything is the only way you get yourself back. If you're watching this and it feels too close to home, you're not weak. You're not replaceable. You were real in a world that wasn't ready for that.